this is Megan's Mystical Mashup. And, ooh, it is there. Yay, and it did post. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so welcome to the show. Got lots of things. Hi, Lisa. Lots of things to cover today. So I'm just going to go ahead and start while people begin to join us. Lisa Robinett, who we lovingly know on Facebook as Lisa with Ruffy, is a former commercial pilot who's currently in transition and is technically a student. I'm not sure what that means, Lisa, so maybe you could tell us a little more about that. She's been a part of the lab for a while, but really started getting active since January of this year. She's also been very active in the intuitive intensive space, which I've been privileged enough to witness and experience directly in one of her really amazing readings. She's also an inspiration to me with her say yes approach to gaining confidence in her MAD skills, and they are MAD skills. And she's also active in the main lab. She considers her main modalities to be intuitive card reading, claircognizance, and channeled writing. She lives with her dog, Ruffy. And if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, Lisa, just give us the real... I didn't know if it was Ruffy or Roofy, but I assumed it was Ruffy because, Roofy is another meaning too. But in addition to exploring and expanding on her lightworker capabilities, she also enjoys dog training, including agility, nosework, barn hunt, and tricks, which, Lisa, if you were local, I would be asking you for some advice on that with our two dogs who really don't enjoy training as much as we would like. She also enjoys soaking up new learning experiences. Right now, those include things like photography, violin, learning other musical instruments, and she especially loves crystal bowls, as do I, as do many of us. They're fabulous, aren't they? So without further ado, please welcome Lisa Robinett, aka with Ruffy, to the show. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for doing that. It seems like there used to be a plus sign and now that's not there, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're Android, today. So I don't know. Yeah.
No, I'm iPhone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Totally iPhone. But, I had I was practicing earlier today and it just started uploading or, like updating. So I don't know if that was an update or not. Good thing it happened an hour ago and not right now. That's all I can say. So I should be very thankful for that. How are you?
I'm good and surprisingly awake. I'm not normally, I'm a sleeper in too. So I'm not normally awake at this hour and I'm like, I wonder how groggy I'll be, but I'm actually okay.
I'm happy. And I thought you'd get a kick out of that story. I saw that and I'm like, might be very, pertinent for Lisa today.
Yes, that was hilarious. Yeah. And you pronounced all the stuff right, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay. I was thinking about
Ruffy is not Roofy. I agree.
When I read it in my head, I didn't think about what it sounded like. So when I said it, I'm like, of course it's Ruffy.
Yeah. You know what? It's the way I spelled it. When I made up that name for him, I spelled it that way. And like his vet always calls him Roofy. I'm like, no, please don't associate him with that. So I'm kind of used to it, but.
Well, I wouldn't have, and it didn't even occur to me until I heard myself say it, that other meaning could have even been there. I read it. It's like, of course it's Ruffy. Dogs. Ruffy, and I'm like, oh, whoa! Did I just say that? Okay. But so welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is so fun.
I'm excited too. I think this is awesome. I think you and I have talked quite a bit about this, and I just really enjoy talking with you at all times. So I'm really happy that others are going to be able to join in on this conversation too.
Oh, thank you. And likewise, I really love talking to you too.
Well, I had mentioned that there are two primary questions that I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you the first one now, just because we only have 40 minutes left of the show already, because I just kind of, talked a lot at the beginning today.
Yeah. And I'm a talker.
We both are. That's why I wanted to make sure I set that timer, because it's like, 3 hours later, it's like, wait, what? How did that happen?
Yeah. Nobody is on the live anymore, just us talking.
That could happen.
Oh, yeah.
So that first question is, how did you find the Lightworker Lab? What was your path in getting there?
How did I find it is a kind of convoluted question or answer. You go down those rabbit holes on the internet when you're just researching stuff. I do that all the time.
Totally.
Somehow I ended up in a rabbit hole that led me to Crystal Compton's YouTube videos a while back, and I can't even tell you the date, but within the last year. It's not been that long. And so I watched those sporadically and started liking everyone I'd watch. I'd kind of like more and more. It kind of just, I think, was little seeds of stuff being dropped in my head.
Mm.
And then through that, I found the lab. And I'd say somewhere around the end of 2017, I joined the lab, but didn't do anything with it. I don't think I really looked at the post. I wasn't posting or anything. And then my life went topsy-turvy in that time, a kind of a shocking sudden divorce that in the end was, of course, a beautiful thing for me. Ended up where I'm living now, which is a beautiful place to live and has had all these other things open up for me. But January 3rd, I'm so into my animals. You know, I live with my dog and he's like the love of my life. My cat, who was 16 and a half, you know, so she had a good life, but she passed away January 3rd. And shortly after that, I got this sense of loneliness that was so profound, like just, and I'm very social, but I can also, like, I can go for days without seeing a soul and I'm fine. I entertain myself. I don't really have the feeling of loneliness very much, but I felt floaty, not connected to the world, completely lonely, completely disconnected. And sort of almost out of desperation, I made a post in the lab about how I felt. And then, does anybody else here feel this way? Because part of it, I felt like I was opening up spiritually and I just knew maybe it was connected somehow. So when I posted that and all the love I got back and the outpouring of support and then like, yes, we feel that way. Like a lot of people going through the spiritual awakening sort of have transitions in their life where their whole life is just cleared out. It's painful, but it's good, you know, and in the end, it's good because you're clearing out the things that weren't serving you anymore and the people that weren't serving you anymore. And it wasn't just my ex-husband, it was friends and all kinds of things. And previous to that, a job and career, and just my whole life got completely cleared out where I was a blank slate, which is exactly where I needed to be. But at January 3rd was kind of bottom. I don't know why, that my cat passing away was like a catalyst. So from there, I think I posted, I loved all the support and I said, I think I need to hang out here more because it actually was the first thing since my cat had passed away that lifted me up. All that, it's like I could feel the energy without knowing that's really what I was doing at the time, but it lifted me up and made me feel good. And I posted, I think I need to hang out here more. And Crystal Ann Compton posted back, yeah, I think you do. And so I started, you know, being a little more active in the lab from that point. And I think before that, I had seen the ad for the Crystal's intuitive intensive class that has been ongoing. And the first time I saw it, it was, you know, a few $100s and I was on a tight budget. I was like, oh no, that's not what I need to be spending my money on right now. I'm going to be responsible, and pushed it away. And then when I saw it again, it was sort of the beginning of my say yes to stuff. And I was like, no, my feeling is that I need this and it's going to work out. And I just went and signed up. A little bit of that and signed up. So I'm like, I don't need to be spending this money right now. But oh my gosh, thank God I did. I just feel like the little tiny amount in comparison to what I got that I spent was just, thank goodness I followed my intuition is how I feel about that. So yeah, that class has just opened up everything for me. When I started January 3rd, I didn't feel like I had any gifts, any psychic gifts. I always felt led to it. I did have dreams when I was little that came true, to the point that my mom was like, I came down and dreamed it snowed one morning. She's like, oh, we've got to put insulation on the pipes. So, and I did have recurring dreams during my marriage about exactly how my divorce went down, but ignored them. Ooh. Yeah. And a dream that my father passed away the day before he passed away, which gave me the beautiful opportunity to call him and talk to him till he just absolutely had to get off the phone. So I had that, and I knew this was there, kind of, although I was raised agnostic atheist when I was younger. But yeah, so January, I kind of felt like I knew nothing, then jumped in that class. And like, if you guys have heard me talk, just started saying yes to stuff. Yep. And then it's just been like, so well, yeah, just a life-changing experience, joining the lab and joining the class.
Well, and all of the things that culminated in a short period of time, it sounds like. And I saw Julie had posted, you know, our rabbit hole is wonderful or awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, is that a spiritual path in and of itself? Because, you know, we're following our nose in a sense, you know, we're following I love rabbit holes for that reason. And so I used to get down on myself for doing them. And then it's like, no, I'm doing it, because they always amount to something spectacular in one way or another. So I'm really happy you found the lab. I think we're all happy you found the lab, because I mean, just seeing you in the intuitive intensive, you're just amazing.
Thank you.
And yes attitude is just, I mean, I just had my daughter watch Yes Man. Well, I didn't have her, I invited her to, but maybe a month or two ago. But a friend of mine had introduced me to it. Have you seen it? It's with Jim Carrey. So he starts out saying no to everything, and then
no, I remember that movie. Yeah,
and at some point he kind of takes it really, really far, and so it's about finding that balance. But I find it really inspiring when I watch it. In fact, it's good for me to watch when I'm facing resistance of some sort, because it's like, come on, you're taking yourself too seriously here, Megan. Give it up.
Yeah, and I will qualify. I don't say yes to everything that comes my way. I have gotten into that touch with my core and that intuition and the things that feel right.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what I feel like my beginning here, my message to bring to everyone is living in joy. That's why I've titled my last couple lives Living in Joy. And what I say yes to is the things that light up for me and feel like joy, like, ooh, that would be fun. And so I say yes to that. So yeah, with a qualification.
Good. Well, that's good, because saying yes to everything in the world, it's like, well, with all of the advertising out there and call now, it's like, okay, I mean, he did that in the movie, actually, now that I remember. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. But I kind of chuckle when you had said things that feel like joy. It suddenly, at least it felt pretty suddenly here in Minnesota, turned from, I think last weekend it was maybe 70, I don't know, and then now this weekend we're in the 90s.
Oh wow!
So within the process of a week, we've really heated up, and so I had flannel sheets on all beds, and then all of a sudden I didn't want those anymore. So last night I just went through and changed all the beds. Well, that's not usually my most favorite thing in the world to do, but I was making one of the beds, and I'm like, find the joy in this moment, and I did, actually, because there's a zen-like quality to that when I allow it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I totally appreciate that, and really love the reminders to find what's joyful and do what's joyful. And and I'm trying to teach my daughter how to try to turn things that otherwise aren't always that joyful, like for her homework, any kind of homework. Just the fact that it's called homework for her is not joyful. So it's like, well, how do we turn this around and find it, try to create it into something that's more fun? She's not at that point yet. She just resists the fact that it's there in the first place. So she hasn't found the joy, but I figure if I can model it more. I'm really trying. Go ahead.
Modeling, sure, because hearing stuff from mom when you're a certain age doesn't ever work either. You just resist it more.
Yeah. She's a bit of a rebel, I've noticed, and I'm okay with that. Knowing about it is good to know, but I have evidence that she hears me. So, the fact that she hears me at some point is good. Even if it's not in the moment.
Even if she doesn't really value it till she's 30, it's probably good you're getting it in there. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to take that approach. At least someday maybe she can say, my mom always said, and have it, if I'm not
gets in there. Gets in there.
It's really sometimes hard to have that long-term perspective, though, when you're in the moment. It's like, just listen to me now, I can make your life so much easier.
Right. I know.
Yeah. She's not having anything to do with that. But well, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't have kids, but I found that with some of my family members, when someone you really, really love, and you can see how life could be so much easier for them if they just did this or that. And it's like, I've really had to learn to pull back, and like, people have to learn their own lessons. And it's so hard when the lessons are painful and you're watching them go through it. You could help them, but it's not going to help to say it. Like, they just have to go through it. And all you can do is be there and support and hold space and love. And it's like, it's the hardest thing. Yeah.
It does bring to me a different meaning of the word support, because I used to always think it meant help. I mean, help by advice.
Me too. I'm a solution person, and it's hard to not.
Same here.
People's problems. Yeah.
And I should say, by used to, I mean like yesterday.
Yeah, me too. Me too. By used to, I mean I still do sometimes.
Yeah. it just came to my head, support in a different way.
I love that.
This past week, my mom was, she likes to do, I shouldn't say likes, she's done one craft show. She sells jewelry and makes and sells jewelry. She doesn't really sell that much. She makes a lot. And so she was just like, I'm not selling much, so I think I'm going to go on a craft thing, which I've been encouraging her to do for at least, I think it's at least 10 years. It's been a really long time. And so it's like, you should do craft shows. And she's like, no. And all of a sudden she did the one craft show. She sold 5 things, and which I'm like, that's awesome. Oh. She didn't think it was that great. And then all of a sudden there's one on the 4th of July when we'll be visiting, and it has no end time. So it's like 9 until whenever. And I'm kind of like, because she wants me to help, and I'm happy to help. But at the same point, we're visiting, and the 4th of July is the thing that, we're there for an experience. And it's like, I can help, but I kind of want to know when it ends. It's like, because there's other stuff. Well, all of a sudden that craft show thing was like the thing I can't resist and pass up an opportunity to sell my jewelry. And I'm like, okay, Mom, and it was, it was about that support thing. It's like, I was so emotional that particular morning after kind of having a thing with my daughter that was really upsetting to me, that I did not show the kind of support I would normally have wanted to show. She was definitely, in my view, in need of some support of love and understanding, but she tapped a trigger of mine that was like, I was really aware of it, but it's like, well, at least she's my mom, and, we can make up from this. But that support, it's like, it would have been really beneficial for me to just be there for her, because clearly she was distraught about the fear of not having people to help her. And it's like, of course I'm going to help.
Yeah. And, to me, like, you're kind of down on yourself a little bit for saying, oh, I should have done this. But like, the fact that you're aware that there was another better way to be in that situation, I think is amazing. Even though you didn't necessarily give that to her right then, you knew that's what she needed. And like, going forward, if that comes up again, you can give it to her. And to me, that's huge progress.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean? like, oh yeah, pat yourself on the back for that one.
Well, the thing that I find really interesting is I was very aware in the moment, and I still sent kind of a surly text. I think it was my first text of the morning, and it was kind of grouchy. And I really have a thing about waking up to something good and happy or kind. And so this, y'all are taking too long to get back. I mean, this is my voice for her. She doesn't sound like that, ever, but it's like,
our perception, right?
Yeah. I'm like, this is a trigger. And I know that responding, I probably won't sound as loving as I may want to in the future. And then I just, because of the state of mind I was in, it's like, I'm doing it anyway. I mean, I just totally knew I was doing it. And then I sent her love. I mean, the positive, besides being aware of it and knowing I did it, and I made a choice, and I know that, but also that having the skills of like knowing how to send love and energy with, I did that as soon as I was in a centered place and able to do that without, other energy tagging on.
And I think we underestimate that too, just the kind of the behind the scenes actions of like, she doesn't know, you're not saying anything, you're not on the phone offering support, but that just sending energy, sending love, sending compassion. I think we really underestimate that. That's a new thing to me too, but I think we underestimate the power of that. I think it can really change situations.
Yep. It's the thing that I like collective consciousness experiences where groups come together and focus on one big thing from an energy standpoint. And I experienced that when I was going through these energetic courses. We would do this in a circle in a room face to face, but we would send love into the circle. And at first the instructor had us send a negative energy into the circle to see the difference, so we could feel and see the difference, which was kind of, it's like, she was very, very careful about it, because you don't ever want to do that, really, because you could release that and we contained it in a circle, but it was pretty incredible to tell the difference. It was such a significant shift when we turned from the negative energy to positive, to love. And then we sent love to each person in the room. So everybody in the room sent love to that person, and it's like, well, everybody cried because it was so amazingly powerful.
Oh, I love that.
Nobody wanted to leave the room because it felt so good.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't wait till you start teaching energetics.
I know you said that
I
already.
know you haven't officially maybe set that intention, but yeah. I see that coming for you.
I have it coming. Something I'm thinking about is, and I've talked to Crystal a bit about this, is a thing called thread theory, and I taught something about this early on, and it was about manifesting. But really, what I want to do is look at specific energies and really, well, I'm going to use detangle because I really like that metaphor, but just kind of unravel the things that contribute to a particular energy and start out with the one that, like fear. But how do we turn that around and clean it up so that it's something positive and uplifting that can really work for us instead of hinder our progress? So that'll probably have some energetic aspects in it, but I keep hearing thread theory and this, I mean, it'd be like a once a month thing because for now that's what I can do. And I'm thinking maybe I can do it around the beginning of the month so that we can have an energy of the month. I don't know, and it's not the dark.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's like, it's been in my head for quite a while, but I feel like bringing that aspect of energy in will be really helpful to people. And I still have energetics in my mind, but I haven't figured out exactly how to do it yet. I mean, I know how to do this stuff. I just haven't figured out. Well, and I don't have to figure it out. I can just allow, but I haven't gotten to the point where I'm really good at that. Like you, I think are really good at that. Me, it's like, I can feel, I laugh half the time when I'm meditating because I can feel something coming in and then I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then, like we have a little battle there. It's like,
what's the battle? What's the no?
Confidence. There's the wheel. We've got your back. I think it might've been you who had said, there's a net. A couple of people have said there's a net if you take the leap. And I have this thing, which is right on my desk that I haven't hung up yet. That is the leap of faith. It's hard to see. I think I showed that to you,
we had talked
right?
about the leap on your reading, right? Yeah. That was like one of the things that came through for you.
This little dude with bird wings, up, flying off a cliff, and it's called Leap of Faith, and it's by Ralph Steadman, and I absolutely love that because I feel like that guy with the wings, but I'm also like that guy who saw the result of the guy with the wings, the first time the guy jumped off the cliff. I don't think it turned out well. Maybe it did, but nobody was there to see it. I don't know. For me, the confidence really, it's like, for me, it's just the confidence and trust in what I'm getting is because I interject my own thoughts a lot. And I know that I do, that I keep asking, is this me or is this spirit? And I don't feel completely there yet. And maybe that's a part of it.
I think that's okay. I feel like you need to hear that's okay. You don't have to be completely there yet. Like,
right.
That's okay too. It's all part of the journey and that's okay.
Well, at some point I'll be going on in the intuitive intensive space to start with and try and do some things that are outside of my comfort zone. This conversation, talking to people, that's totally within my comfort zone. Teaching a class is within my comfort zone. I think we talked about that because I prepare, but I don't want to prepare like I used to prepare because I used to be super prepared to the point where it was constricting. And now I would like to just be, let things go and emerge where they are. And I love emergence, probably because it's still kind of foreign to me sometimes. Ooh. So
I just got an idea, a suggestion for you. Take it as a seed in your head if you're not ready for it. But like, what about popping up in the intensive, calling it emergence and zero preparation? Zero.
Okay. I just got, have you ever watched the show How I Met Your Mother?
I've seen it. I never really watched it. I've seen like an episode. I kind of know a gist of it, but never really watched it. Yeah.
So there's a guy on there and there's an aspect of him that I really love. And then there's a part of him that I absolutely do not like at all. Cause he's really not, anyway, his name is Barney Stinson. And then I converted that to Bonnie Stinson. My mom's name is Bonnie, and it's it's a superhero kind of person that I call on when I'm afraid to take a leap. And so Bonnie Stinson, just like Barney Stinson would say, challenge accepted. And so, I'll just do that. I have a little thing in one of my spaces with a little cartoon character with a cape, like challenge accepted. So there you go. I will give it a try.
I love that. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. I too, if we end up having time, I did this channeled writing this morning that goes a little bit along with what we've just been talking about, but also something you mentioned at the beginning that I found interesting about the energy being off, and that nobody's saying anything about it. And if anybody watched my live yesterday, which probably you guys didn't, I know Chris Hoffman was there, but
I wasn't able to.
Literally the first 15 minutes was me by myself. Am I in the right place? Okay. But I felt very off yesterday, and even a little the day before. My boyfriend felt very off those 2 days, and both of us, our respective dogs, were very off. And it's just like something is in the energy. And then coming to the live yesterday, nobody was there. Then there was technical things. It's just like, God, and I know nothing about energy. Excuse me. I hadn't seen Lauren Antofermo, our resident, what's going on and the energy expert, post anything. And you're the only first person I heard say anything else about it. And
seemed
the
really strong
writing
to me
today, I don't know if it kind of talks a little bit about that. It was kind of a strange and different writing for me.
Go for it.
You want me to go ahead and read it now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sure. Okay. So it starts, we are here with you all, always. When you feel a warm glow that makes you happy and secure, that is us. We are here. When you feel like everything in the universe is going your way and the sun can only shine out of happiness onto your head, that is us. We are here with you. When you struggle to get out of bed, when sadness, and now it starts to rhyme for a couple of verses here, so it's kind of
cool.
It's the first time I've ever had that, but anyway, just, go with it. When you struggle to get out of bed, when sadness clouds your vision and fills your head, yes, we are still here with you. When your energy feels low, when you feel as if there is no place for you to go, we are here with you. Please, in the low times, remember, we are there for you too. Always. We are there to carry you. You only have to ask us to. Lean on us, reach out to us, open up and ask for our help. Give us permission to aid you, carry you, guide you. We always want to see you all living in your highest joy, in the most joyous, highest path you carved out for yourselves when you came here. Everyone struggles, everyone stumbles. Call on us. Let us help. Let us help pick you up so you can once again see the path, see your joy, follow that joy, and live in joy. Enjoy, 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 and aloha.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
thanks.
I wonder, will you be posting that?
What's that?
Will you post that?
I sure can. I mean, I literally did it right before this. I tried to do channeled writing because sometimes before my lives, if I do channeled writing that morning, it seems to apply to it. So yeah, I can post that.
There's something.
I can post here in the light I can post in here that.
Well, if you want to, do you want to post it in the comments? That would be good. And
yeah,
you can post
I'll do that, and then I'll post it in class too.
Sure. I mean, you can post it in the main Lightroom too if you want. I mean, I think you're totally fine doing that. Whatever you're comfortable with. But I think that was really, that's really profound. Something came to me when you were reading that, and it had to do with allowance. It's something I think about a lot because I've gotten to the point where I can physically feel myself like resisting. And so it's me not allowing those, like, especially that ray of, I mean, the heat I can feel automatic. I mean, I felt it when you were reading it, but
cool.
Like I'm thinking back to this week, and I kind of did I'll just call it a Caddyshack moment where the guy who's golfing on the hill is like arguing with Mother Nature, and then he gets struck by lightning. But for me, it's like
that's a great movie.
for me, it was like, I was just really upset because of something with my daughter, and everything's good now. Everything's really good now. But I was just like, what am I doing wrong? And, just tell me. And, and I think sometimes that's important too. It's like, I bottle this stuff up and I don't really talk about it with spirit. And, I kind of assume it, knows anyway, but it was good for me to just get it out. But at the same point, it was me really not listening. I may say I'm listening, but I can feel when I'm listening and allowing, those responses in. And it's been an actual exercise for me. I was mentioning to my husband yesterday, which he never knew about me, but it's like I have to consciously relax physically in order to not be, I mean, I'm almost always constricted physically. I think it's a defense, a coping mechanism or whatever with the empath aspect, is that I created such barriers that it's like I'm always tense. And so I realized this like a year ago, but ever since then, it's really been a huge practice to relax every part of my body. And it's not very easy.
No.
And so doing that is another way for me to allow, because otherwise I'm blocking everything, which is my natural state, almost. I mean, it's not,
just
I don't think it's my,
practice that so long. Yeah.
well, and I mean, yeah, because it's like I wasn't born that way, but it feels like my natural state because I never realized I was doing it. So I developed it with time, and it's like, wow. I mean, this is a longer story, but at some point I was in North Carolina and I'm at this meeting, and all of a sudden in my head I heard, "Why are you blocking?" And I'm like, huh, am I?
So cool.
And and it was actually a big part of my awakening experience, because that had never happened to me before. First of all, it was like somebody in my head, male voice, like it was my own voice speaking out loud, except a guy's voice, like, "Why are you blocking?" I'm like, but I had been in energetics, so I was already receptive to that, and I'm like, oh, am I? And that just put me on this big path of, wow, why was I blocking? Because I didn't know I was. And that was like, wow, I block all the time. It's my default. Wow, what a strange thing. And just that is kind of the big thing that one of the big things that started me on the path.
That's just beautiful.
Awakening.
That's beautiful. And I think that probably applies to me as well. I've always had a lot of tension everywhere, and I've never, I'm getting better at relaxing now, but I had never made the connection that you just said. That's really beautiful. And the empath connection probably applies to me as well. And can I say really quick?
Sure.
In the comments, Griselda, I hope I'm saying that right, Garcia asks, is that just for you? Is that just for you? Yeah. And I think she's asking about the channeled writing. So I just wanted to address that really quick, that if that's what you're asking, Griselda, no, absolutely. It was not just for me, because it's even addressed to you all. It was for this. I know 1,000% it was for everybody here on this show right now, watching live, and the future watchers watching replay. I know for a fact it was for all of us. Yeah. So hopefully that's what you're asking.
Well, and if not, just add another comment so we know specifically what that question is for. But thank you. I was going to say, I had a channeled writing, I think it was the morning of after my, I had meditated, and actually, it was a channeled writing. Yeah, it was the next day, because I took a lot of time to just sit and be, because I was so upset the day before or the night before that something came through that I think is kind of related, but it was really with reference to I feel it felt a bit of a wall when it comes to progress in my work and what it is I'm intended to do, what I want, what brings me the most joy in my work, and what can I really focus on. And the thing that came through, the big point had to do with it. I've always heard this message come from the heart, right? And so I always thought it meant come from love, come from a place of love, which I think it does mean that. But what was really interesting about this message was that it was like, yes, but the heart does everything without thinking about it. It just, it's like, it keeps us alive. It has a huge job, but it's not sitting there going, do I feel like pumping blood out, or what if I did it differently this way, and stuff like that. And so the big message for me was to just do it. And generate was the big word that came out, is to just generate, generate, stop getting stuck in the how and the why. And so it came through to me, and I got it, and I recorded it on paper, and I'm like, this is something I should post. And then I got busy and didn't post it. So I figured I better at least say it here, because I think a big part of that, spirit is here for us. But it does really have a lot for me to do with the ability or willingness to receive it, and reminding myself that I want to receive. I say bring it on, and I want to receive all the time, but I so easily close it off that I don't even notice it until things start to go wonky in my life. And then it's like, well, why is that? Oh, wait, hello. I'm trying to do this all from my brain and from my, logic side, and really figuring things out. And I don't really need to do that anymore.
Yes. And what I was thinking of, as you're saying about the heart thing, ties into that too, that all my say yes, and I said, well, it's from discernment. What switched in me I've always been a very intellectual in my head, figure things out from the head perspective, and it got me pretty far in life. I feel like my discernment then was pretty good, but what I have now is this new way of knowing things that it just makes my life go so much smoother to operate from this new way. And as you said, that it's like, yes, I'm operating from letting my heart lead. It's like, does my heart want this or that? And my brain gets out of the way. And that's what I say yes to. I say yes to what the heart wants. And it's this, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a new way of knowing that is a much more sure knowing than I ever operated from before, just out of intellect. It's like, I had good judge of character. I had good discernment about what's going on in life and could read things, but then still there was this lack of trust in things. And I'll give the example of just going through my divorce. I thought, I'm never going to date again, because how could I ever trust a man again? And blah, blah, blah. Well, here I am 7 months later in a really committed relationship already. And the way I can trust him is I started saying yes before that and living from my heart before that. And I don't have doubts about it. It's just, which I never have not had doubts about people before in my life. But this new way of living is so much more peaceful, so much more, it just eliminates doubts. Like if you get used to following your heart, the doubts just float away. I don't know how, I'm like stumbling to describe it really, but it's just a better way of knowing things.
Well, and I love it. And I'm thinking, okay, so there's two things. One is I can't tell when I'm living from my heart yet. I mean, I'm consciously going to my heart and I'm really trying to be in that space, but I haven't gotten to the trust part of, I haven't gotten a strong enough sense about yes or no, I think. That. I mean, so now I'm going to ask you for like instructions.
Yeah. And as you can tell, I'm like, yes, I have, like, I feel like that's a big part of what I'm supposed to give, at least right now in our spaces here for sure. But I just feel like this is a big part of what I'm here for, is that the guidance system is so simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it's really simple. It sounds cliche, but it's the follow your joy. So if something lights you up and you think about it and it brings you joy, like that's what you say yes to. Like when you ask me about this and it's 7 a.m, I'm like, ooh, 7 a.m. But the idea of the show brought me joy and sound, it was like, ooh, that sounds fun. So I say yes. I set aside the little fear part, which is the fear. The fear is I've had energy issues and adrenal fatigue in the past. And the fear is like, oh, if I get up early, am I going to even be able to function? That's my fear. It's not just simply like it was fear.
Sure.
Anything that's fear ain't valid. That's coming from your head. And I throw it away. And I kind of gut check, is this coming from love or fear? Is this coming from, ooh, this makes me happy, or fear? If it's fear, it's invalid in my book. I mean, sure, if you're about to fall off a cliff, like you have to be reasonable, but there was a valid fear of, hey, I might not be able to function. I have a history of that. But I woke up, I didn't get that much sleep because I chatted with my boyfriend too long last night, even though I was trying to go to bed early, and I got like 5 hours sleep, and I should be tired and I'm not. It's kind of like, spirit's got your back. Don't worry about it. Things will work out. But to me, our guidance system is joy. What we need to see out there. I see joy, and that lights up our next stepping stone. And that's all we need to do. And then, maybe gut check with yourself. Is this decision coming out of love or fear? So those are really the only two parts to me. And I think you don't need to have the trust right away, but I feel like if you just practice following your joy, like for me, I've practiced it. Yes, it's been in a short period, but I practice it really intensely with every decision every single day since January. And it's like a muscle that gets stronger. And the more you practice following that joy and making your decisions out of love, not fear, the stronger that muscle gets, and the more confidence you'll have in it, to the point that you'll just trust it. But it's not like, don't try and force the trust right now. Just try and follow the joy right now.
I love that.
That's my tip.
Thank you. I think that's wonderful. And so my one question is, do you ask that, is it coming from love or fear, right away after you hear yes? I mean, or no?
No, when I hear yes, generally there's no even thinking. It's like, yes. Like, and I try and get the thinking out of the way a lot. Good. Like, When
Mm-hmm.
I first signed up for the first live, I was very nervous. I am very camera shy. I don't like seeing myself in pictures. I don't like seeing myself on video. I'm very shy and suspicious of Facebook. And here I am like, yeah, I'll go live on Facebook. And I had like a minute of bravery, and I could tell that was a yes. There was a lot of fear around it. I could tell that was fear. So I just went, yes. And I hit send.
Awesome.
So you know what part,
Yeah.
a lot of times, this is fear and this is the yes. And at the beginning, there was a lot of fear around my yeses, but I just worked through it. I went to the yes anyway, despite the fear, because I'm logically in my brain, I know that fear is invalid now.
Wonderful.
I know that it's okay. Spirit's got my back, and the fear is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's like an illusion.
That's cool. I've been thinking a lot about fear in terms, because I felt it myself recently. I'm trying to manifest some stuff and I'm having a block around it. And it's like, what's going on with that? And I can feel the fear. And so I'm playing with it. And one thing that I'm practicing myself is inviting the fear in and befriending it, and asking it to join in making this manifestation something that we can all buy into.
I love that. And it kind of reminds me back to the beginning of you were talking about your energy stuff and the entanglement.
Yeah.
And when you said that, and you said you were talking about fear too, I had this picture of, and maybe this is kind of how you were thinking it, but like that fear is this entanglement all in you, and what you're going to do is detangle it. So it's not like the fear has to go away. You just have to detangle it and straighten it out. And then it's beautiful. That's kind of what I saw when you said that. So
I love that you saw that. I've been working on something called detanglement coaching, but I've since decided that I want to take it bigger than a one-to-one coaching thing, which is like, I think you just helped me make sense of that, because I really love detanglement. I mean,
cool. It just really hit me when you said it. I was like, God, that's awesome.
Well, thank my daughter, who has very long, thin or fine hair. That's always, she's doing it herself now, but it used to be me who would detangle. In fact, yesterday she had a big knot of necklaces, and I had posted something from her room. I shouldn't say that too loud. I don't know if she knows. She wouldn't like that I did this, but there's this thing that was hanging down from her light that people were like, get rid of that thing. And I saw something
I saw that.
Yeah. So, you commented. Thank you, by the way. So I took it down and I'm like, what can I replace it with? And I found this really cool kind of Native American inspired necklace that she had that would just be, I'm going to take a picture of it to show and make sure that looks, I mean, it seems good to me, but it took me like an hour to detangle it from all of these necklaces, and I didn't have my glasses on. So I really kind of used the force to do it, but I did it. And I'm like, I really like doing that. And there's something about just detangling that kind of knot that is so refreshing to me. And so I'm glad you brought that word up. That's just a big sign.
Yeah.
It's like, stick with that metaphor, I guess.
I love what you just said too about using the force. Like, I think the more we do that in little things in life, the stronger it makes that muscle too. Because I had this huge painting, and I bought this really nice photo, an actual like art photo that I had loved, of these white horses on the beach. That was sort of like my pinnacle of independence, and I put it up in my place. But the frame and the photo and the glass, it was super heavy, and I'm doing it all by myself, and I'm like trying to lift it and hold it, and it's like I can't do this on my own. And this was a couple of months ago, way back in January, probably, when I wasn't as in this space as I am now. And I was like, okay, angels, you guys just help me. And I went, it was totally easy.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm getting chills even just saying that. It's like just the little things in life. And I feel like that was the biggest message out of that channeling, is like, they want to say, we're here, just ask us. Like, there's something in the way it works that we have to ask. They can't just step in unless we ask. But they're sitting there like how you and I want to solve people's problems, and we're like, oh, please, we can make it so easy for you. I feel like they're like the same thing. We can make it so easy. You just have to ask us and give us permission. Please let us in.
Yep, exactly. It does circles right back to that, and I'm glad that we're circling back, because we have 1 minute left.
It's like, really, it's just been 5 minutes, right?
I know. Amazing. But that thing about support, I think it's really important to allow the other person to ask, because until they're ready, it's not going to be valuable to them in the way it would once they are ready and take that leap and ask for it. And then they can see how awesome that assistance can help, that support can help. So I apologize. I was hoping to get some questions in, but I really enjoyed this conversation. So we're just gonna, I'll go back and look at the comments and respond where I can. Lisa, if you have a chance to review them, great. If not, then I'll just tap you and let you know if there's something specific.
Okay.
And just a reminder again, the next Megan's Mystical Mashup is we're in May, June 9th, Saturday, and in the lab, the main lab. So this is the end of
I'm sure Megan's
version.
detanglement theory and energetics is going to be coming up soon.
You just know it. Yep. I have to detangle all of that in my head, and then yes.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me on here. This was so fun, and I'm really honored to be on here with you. And you're just so special. Like, I think the word I had originally, when I first met you on our reading, you popped up, it's like, Megan is effervescent. That's exactly what I feel about you when I see you.
I love that word. It popped into my head a couple of days ago, and I really benefited from it too. So thank you so much. And Lisa, I love talking with you. So hopefully you'll come on the show again when we're in the main lab. And all this stuff.
Oh my gosh, anytime. I'd love to. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, enjoy your full day.
I will.
Have a nice long one.
Love all you guys.
Okay. Bye. Thanks everyone for watching.